Live right here on the early line on SportsGrid. Tom Vecchio here for a second consecutive segment. The jack of all trades, you might have noticed. Hey, proper perspective. Where were those hockey picks for Stanley Cup playoff action from TV Tom? Well, we got him here today. Vecchio, as we continue through this opening round, a couple of results last night. The Kings now up 2-0 on the Oilers, trying to exact their playoff revenge of Edmonton, who has sent LA bounced from the opening round in each of the last 3 seasons. We have seen the Washington Capitals take a 2-0 series lead against the Canadiens, and a slightly stunning upset, not quite an upset, but the Dallas Stars win in overtime for their second consecutive game over the Colorado Avalanche and now hold a 2-1 series lead. Vecchio, of the results yesterday, which one stands out to you the most?
Stands out to me the most would be the Avs losing at home. You know, they had a lot of juice coming into this game. Their captain, Gabriel Landeskog, returned after a 3-year absence. He has been out since they won the Stanley Cup in 2022 due to an injury, and he finally made his way back after 3 years of recovery. They come out, they score the first goal. Obviously, the game goes to overtime, and the Stars get it done. Obviously, the Stars are a very good team. They struggled at the end of the season, but I expect the Avs to bounce back in Game 4. They're still a very good team, and their defense has been much, much better than I anticipated.
Yeah, it's going to be a great series there. The Kings, again, hoping to have the last laugh over Edmonton. Finally, Alexander Ovechkin and the Caps off to a great start. Vecchio, the team that maybe has looked the most impressive so far in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes, absolutely stomping all over the New Jersey Devils in their opening round playoff set. And because of it, the Canes have started to see some separation in those Stanley Cup prices. Plus 440 for Carolina, now more than $2 in front of our reigning Cup champs in the Florida Panthers. We'll talk about Game 2 in the Sunshine State in just a moment. Vecchio, you've expressed some skepticism around Carolina being this short in comparison of a Stanley Cup favorite. Have they earned the distinction in your mind to be those Stanley Cup favorites right now?
Still no. The answer is no. And even if I didn't think that, I still don't think that's a great price to be betting them at. You know, Frederick Anderson in net for the Canes is still that big question mark for me. And he's a goalie where if you only sees 10 or 15 shots, he'll probably look pretty good. But if you see more and more shots, the mistakes are going to come through, and he often has like this lapse. You're like, hey, that was kind of a weird play. Why that happens? Like, he's had these playoff inconsistencies before, and with the Devils so shorthanded, they already don't have Jack Hughes. They lost Luke Hughes. They lost a handful of other players in the first 2 games. They are now really, really shorthanded. So he's actually having a pretty easy go with things. If he has to play the Capitals, if he has to play the Leafs, he has to play the Panthers, the Lightning, whoever it might be in that conference final, they are not going to do the same things that the Devils are, because the Devils don't have that push on offense because they're missing some of their best players. I still think there's value outside of the Canes.
Where would you go with that value then? Because the Canes are kind of becoming shorter and shorter by the day.
The Caps are still sitting there 10-1, and they're going to have home ice throughout. So if they can get past the Canes number is just bad. I think the Caps are still the spot to go. As I've said before, I haven't taken on the Lightning at 17-1. They're in a tough spot, but I do still like where they are.
So we've got 4 games tonight on the ice, 1 Game 2, 3 Game 3s. Let's talk about the Game 2 in the Sunshine State between the reigning Cup champs, the Florida Panthers, who stole Game 1 in Tampa earlier this week, and the Lightning looking for a bounce back. Do you expect just that, Vecchio, a bold bounce back tonight on home ice?
I absolutely do. If there's any coach in the league, you know, a handful of them that will make adjustments on a game-to-game basis, it's John Cooper for the Lightning, obviously. Plenty of historic success from him, but the team looked good at times in that game versus Florida. Obviously, the box score by them, you know, giving up 6 goals doesn't really imply that, but they looked good. You know, their offense was moving. Jake Gensel looked good, obviously a proven playoff performer. So game-to-game adjustments is where this will come down to. A true chess match between 2 phenomenal head coaches. I like Tampa to bounce back. This series is going 6 or 7 games.
So the other 3 games tonight already in Game 3, which means a change of location to Minnesota. The Wild and the Golden Knights tied at a game apiece. The Jets up 2-0 over St. Louis. The Leafs up 2-0 over the Senators. Vecchio, which of the other 3 Game 3s that we have most intrigues you?
It's got to be the Senators at home, their first playoff game in, was it 7-8 years since they've had, since they made the playoffs. This has to be a first period total goals under 1.5 at -104. The Senators cannot let the Leafs get out ahead, as we have seen, and let them score, and then they have to play from behind. That's just not the path to the Senators winning. The path to the Senators winning is winning 2-1, maybe the empty net goal to get them 3-1, but it has to be a low-scoring game.
Low-scoring playoff affair. Tom Vecchio always delivers on this Thursday. Vecchio, have a great rest of your day. The early line returns tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern on a Friday on SportsGrid.